Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. My name's Stephanie and today I'm super excited to be sharing Mooncat's new and limited edition Nightmare Before Christmas collection in collaboration with Disney. So I was so excited to see this Mooncat Tim Burton collab. I feel like it is just so iconic, so on point for both of them. I had a feeling we would see this collab at some point and I am just so glad that it's here. So today I'm gonna be reviewing the complete collector set, which includes the collection box that features the 6 nail polishes, 2 nail art sticker sheets, and 2 additional goodies, which I will share a close-up of in a minute. Or you could just grab the collector's box set, which doesn't include those extra goodies. It's just the polishes and the sticker sheets. Or you can just grab whatever you want individually. As always, I will have Mooncat's website linked down below, as well as a breakdown of all the products and their respective pricing. But before we move on, I want to give a big thank you to Mooncat for sponsoring today's video. As always, all of my thoughts and opinions are my own, and I will share more of them after comparisons. So for now, let's get into the unboxing. So here is a look at the collection box. It has Jack and Sally on the front and all of these gorgeous details, even all around the sides of the box and even on the back. And like other collab boxes, this one is matte but has glossy details that catch the light really nicely. So the front of the box has these 2 flaps with a ribbon, and it's just kind of very loose. There's no magnet or anything, but once we open it up, we see the 6 polishes in their unicartons inside, some super cute designs all around, and some stickers in the envelope there. And if we pay closer attention to the polishes, we see a new label on the bottles, and even for the names, 3 of them are glow in the dark. The unicartons that the polishes come in are super detailed as well. As with previous Mooncat collabs, the package design is on point. I love the detail that is added to these boxes, as well as the added detail of designing the inside. It is just so cute, such a fun surprise. So on the inside of the right flap is this little pocket envelope that holds the nail art stickers that come in this collection box. They come in this cute little packaging. I don't know what you would call it, like another envelope, but there's 2 sheets of nail art stickers that are included, and some of the stickers are even glow in the dark. You'll be able to see some of them have that kind of white transparent look to them. So apologies, I didn't actually show these glow in the dark, but they're really cute overall. So the extra goodies that come with the complete collector set are the branded Shapeshifter crystal nail file, which is this really chic white to black crystal design that comes in this black sleeve. And the other thing is the Retractable The Vanisher. And this is basically Mooncat's cleanup brush, but in new retractable packaging, obviously also branded to fit the theme of the collection box. It is super cool. I think it would be so perfect for travel, and here's a little close-up of that retractable mechanism. So finally, getting into the polishes, the first one we have is Pumpkin King, and it's described as a black lacquer filled with ultra-fine holographic glitter flakies, holographic glitter, and a red to orange color-shifting shimmer. This one had really great coverage on the first coat, as expected being a black polish, but it still felt really smooth and not goopy at all considering how much is in here with the flakies and glitters and shimmer. I got really full coverage and it was just so easy to apply. So I ended up just needing 2 coats for full coverage on this one. I doubt you would need a third, maybe if your nails are a lot longer than mine, but I think it looked great on 2 coats, and it's definitely a really fun black for the Halloween season. My only disappointment with this one was that red to orange shimmer that we saw in the bottle. It was super strong in the bottle, but it was just not really showing up for me on the nail. Even when I tried to do the adjusted lighting, when I show off multi-chromes, it just was not showing up for me. I did see some pops of orange here and there, but it just was really subtle overall. But even still, I think the shade is really gorgeous. I love how sparkly it is. Even here in the sunlight, it just catches the light so beautifully. The first glow-in-the-dark polish we have is What a Brilliant Nose, which is a white glow-in-the-dark lacquer filled with orange shimmer. So this one glows green, which I'll share in a bit, but formula-wise, this one was pretty much a true crully kind of finish. So even if you are careful with your application, you're still gonna need around 3 coats to get this more fuller coverage, or you could just layer this over white, but I'm gonna be building this up on its own in 3 coats. And I was trying to be careful with my application. I think maybe I just grabbed too much polish here on the second coat, or maybe not enough, but I ended up still having some kind of streaks near the sides of my nail, mainly on the right side, which unfortunately didn't really get covered up on the 3rd coat either. But this was my first time swatching the polish. I did end up swatching it 2 additional times, one for the glow-in-the-dark clip and then another time for the sunshine clip. So getting to work with it a little bit more, I did end up getting more even coverage those times. So this polish might be a little finicky, maybe not the most beginner friendly, again, because it has that white base. So if you think you might have issues with it, I would recommend layering this over a white or just a milky sheer kind of base color. But anyway, here it is in the dark, and I loved how this one glowed. It was so strong, and I especially love that this has that smooth and non-grainy glow-in-the-dark effect. I think it just looks so much better that way. And here it is in the sun to show you just how much visible nail line there is. Again, I'm just wearing a clear base coat that's not milky or blurring or anything like that. So if you don't like any visible nail line, maybe you want to use one of those base coats. The next glow-in-the-dark shade we have is Ragdoll, which is a light blue glow-in-the-dark lacquer filled with blue shimmer. So this is a super light blue. I feel like here it almost looks white, kind of similar to the last shade, but you'll see when I do the collection lineup that there is a subtle difference. But anyway, I found that this one pretty much had the same formula as the last shade, just maybe a little bit smoother. I think the first coat definitely applied really well and I didn't have that many issues with streaks, but I did end up getting them on the second coat where I just had a few sort of streaks or patchiness here and there. So I did need 3 coats for this one as well, just to really even everything out. And I definitely think I would say that it looks the best here in 3 coats because it does build up to be nearly full coverage. It's not 100% because again, it's that slight crelly sort of formula, but I think it looks good in most lighting. It's just such a beautiful color. So this one happens to glow green as well, and here it is in the dark. It has a really nice, smooth, even glow, especially because it is built up in 3 coats, but I found this one to be a little bit weaker than the last shade, which I guess doesn't surprise me because I think the white-based glow-in-the-darks are just going to be stronger overall. And lastly, here it is in the sunlight, so you can see how much visible nail line you would get on 3 coats using just a regular clear base coat. It's not as much, but still there. The next shade we have is Everybody Scream, which is a midnight purple lacquer filled with ultra-fine holographic glitter flakies and blue ultra-fine iridescent flakies. So this one had a more similar formula to Pumpkin King, where it definitely was pretty smooth, especially considering how much little flakies and glitters and shimmers are in here. Though I didn't get such even coverage on the first coat, it still does build up beautifully and fully opaque for me on 2 coats, and I don't think you would need a 3rd coat, maybe unless your nails were longer than mine. But yeah, for most people, I think this is a solid 2-coater, and the color is absolutely gorgeous. This was actually one of my favorites from the collection. I think it is just such a perfect purple for this time of year, and there's just so much sparkle with all of the hollow and shimmers and flakies. It is super, super pretty. I didn't even do a great job capturing the hollow even in the sunlight, but it definitely was there. Hopefully you can still tell just how sparkly this one is, but I am really happy about the fact that the blue shimmer is really apparent in this one. And there's no visible nail line. Up next we have my Sandy Claus outfit, and this is described as a red lacquer filled with ultra-fine holographic glitter flakies and color-shifting red to pink ultra-fine iridescent flakies. So formula-wise, I ended up having the best coverage with this one. It was just so buttery smooth to apply and so pigmented. Not only is it packed with those flakies, but the base was just so even and smooth. I did end up kind of wiping off some of it when I went to cap my tips, but it was easy enough to fix. But I'm just blown away by how good this looks in one coat. There's barely a hint of nail line there. I mean, maybe it's more obvious to some other people, but I think if you have shorter nails where you have very little free edge, you might be able to wear this in one coat if you're in a rush. But I am doing 2 coats just to make it fully opaque, and I am so obsessed with this color. It's gonna be a new favorite come the holiday season, just because it has that slight pink shimmer to it, so it's just a little twist on your classic holiday red, and I think it's so pretty. So here it is in direct sunlight, where I think you can definitely see a little bit more of that nail line, but I don't think it's enough to warrant a 3rd coat. But wow, I cannot get over the sparkle this one has. And rounding out the collection is My Bugs, which is a light green glow-in-the-dark lacquer filled with green yellow shimmer, and this one also glows green. So this one had a similar crully formula to the other 2 glow-in-the-dark shades, but I found this one the most even to apply, maybe because it was slightly darker and less of that white colored base. I'm not really sure, but I was just really impressed with how this one looked on the first coat alone. It's still a little bit sheer, but it's still very even coverage, and I really love the shimmer particle in this one. It just seemed to sparkle a little bit more than the others. It doesn't say that there's hollow or reflective glitter in this, but I don't know, I just found that these caught the light in a really beautiful and twinkly kind of way. So I think on 2 coats it does look pretty decent. I think maybe if your nails were shorter, you could definitely get away with 2 coats, but for me, I ended up wanting to do a 3rd coat just to really even everything out. And I think it just looks so good. This one definitely builds up to be close to full coverage. You definitely see a hint of nail line here and there, but I think it looks so stunning. It's definitely the most opaque out of the other glow-in-the-dark shades, maybe to its own detriment though, because in the dark it ended up not having as strong of a glow, even though I did the same amount of light exposure just as a way to easily test these out. But I still really liked how this looked. It's just such a gorgeous green, and here it is in the sunlight. Again, you can see some visible nail line, but it's definitely not enough to warrant a 4th coat, maybe just a blurring base coat. And here is the collection lineup. I think it's such a fun range of spooky shades with some iconic Nightmare Before Christmas colors too. They're just so pretty, and I'm also so obsessed with the labels. So getting straight into comparisons, we're starting with Pumpkin King and looking at it next to Gates of Hell, which is another favorite of mine for this time of year. This one has a really strong red multichrome shimmer though, so it's not quite the same. A closer shade I think is Stealth Mode, which is a recently retired shade as indicated by that little coffin emoji. This is the closest to being a black micro glitter, but it is missing that reddish orange ultra fine flaky in Pumpkin King. So they're not quite dupes, but very close. So on the nail with all 3 of these, you can see Gates of Hell ends up looking almost more burgundy or eggplanty with the base color, or rather with the multichrome shimmer that Pumpkin King and Stealth Mode don't have. They just have the black bases with all of those glitters and flakies in there. So these end up looking pretty similar on the nail, again because Pumpkin King's orange shimmer wasn't that strong. I don't really have anything quite like What a Brilliant Nose, so here it is next to Mooncat's Pixie Stick from the Lost in a Folktale collection, just because it's another white crully base, but obviously the shimmer is wildly different and Pixie Stick does not glow in the dark. And another white crully that I thought it might be similar to would be Head in the Clouds. This was from last year's Surrealism collection. And this one has more of a muted, almost gray kind of base, even though it looks brighter than What a Brilliant Nose. But on the nail, you can see these definitely do not compare. They are not dupes in the slightest. Maybe I would say Pixie Stick looks like it glows in the dark because of that green shimmer. But yeah, these are definitely not dupes. But for Ragdoll, I was immediately reminded of Mooncat's Sabretooth from the Pretty Prehistoric collection. They just both have an extremely similar light blue crully base with that bright blue shimmer, but they're not exact dupes. I would say Ragdoll's base is a little bit more whitened, while Sabretooth almost has a periwinkle kind of color to it, and the shimmer is a little bit stronger and more even in Sabretooth too. Obviously, not to mention the fact that Ragdoll is glow in the dark and Sabretooth is not. But yeah, overall, Ragdoll is just a touch more sheer with a slightly lighter base color. In a similar vein, I was immediately reminded of A Very Merry Unbirthday when I first saw everybody scream. They are just both these really bright violet jelly kind of bases with a super vibrant blue shimmer and these micro flakies, but again, they are not exact dupes. They're pretty much just the same kind of color in a slightly different formula. The key differences are the multichrome flakies in A Very Merry Unbirthday, as well as the lack of hollow flakies and glitters. And also, I would say it's a little bit more sheer. I'm wearing 2 coats of each and you see more bald spots. Next, I wanted to show Mooncat's Pandemonium next to my Sandy Claus outfit. Even though they are very different formulas, this is more so for color reference because while they look like they had a similar pink shimmer in the bottle, they are definitely very, very different on the nail, where my Sandy Claus outfit definitely leans a lot more pink overall and Pandemonium just leans more orange with a slight pink micro shimmer in extreme angles. So I figured I can show it next to Space Oddity from the recent Band of Misfits collection, since that one is more of a true pink or I guess magenta sort of color. And you can see how my Santa Claus outfit definitely looks red compared to this one, but it really is kind of like one of those in-between pinky red shades, I think. So these definitely also have a different formula aside from the different color, where Space Oddity is more multi-chrome, flaky heavy, and doesn't have those holographic sparkles that my Santa Claus outfit does. And lastly, for my bugs, I had to show this next to the now retired Apple of My Eye from the Surrealism collection last year. This is another bright candy apple green, but this one has a pink shimmer instead of a yellow, and it also does not glow in the dark. I definitely really prefer my bugs because I just, again, love that twinkle in the shimmer. I feel like it's just so much more dynamic and eye-catching compared to Apple of My Eye, where it almost looks a little flat. So if you happen to miss that one, I think my bugs is a great alternative. So that wraps up my swatches and comparisons for Mooncat's new Nightmare Before Christmas collection. So I can't wait to hear what you all think of this latest Disney collab, because I feel like this is so on point for them. They did such a great job, and I will talk a little bit more about that after. I just want to give a quick reminder that everything that you saw in today's video is limited edition. So if you want anything, whether it is the complete collector set, which I shared today, or just anything individually, I will have Mooncat's website linked down below so you can get your hands on that. But yeah, I had so much fun unboxing this collection. It was just so beautiful. The package design, as always, is so on point. As you probably know, I love a good shimmer, so I don't think these are boring at all. I think they are so pretty, and it's really hard to choose favorites. Like, I think I would go with Everybody Scream because I love a good purple for spooky season, but the others are just so good. So I'm really curious to know what your favorites are. And I also wanted to quickly talk about the glow-in-the-dark polishes a little bit more. So they do have a disclaimer to shake the polishes before each use to get the best glow. And to be completely honest, I did not do that. Sorry. I just wanted to swatch these straight out of the boxes just to see how they apply, because I know if I was watching a video and somebody said you have to do this in order for it to work, I would be so curious to know, well, how is it going to work if I don't do that? So that's what I wanted to show in my video. To clarify, again, I only used my iPhone flash to charge the polish for a minute before doing the glow-in-the-dark clip. So that being said, I know my bugs was definitely pretty weak compared to the other two I'm sure if you let it charge in direct sunlight for an even longer period of time, it would have a much stronger glow. While I do love the smooth and non-grainy glow-in-the-dark effect because I think it just looks the best, I kind of wish that all three of these didn't glow green. I don't know if green is just the strongest glow-in-the-dark pigment. I mean, I know it's definitely the most common and I get it for my bugs, but I kind of think it's a missed opportunity to not have these other two glow in different colors. But anyway, those are all my thoughts regarding this collection. Big thank you again to Mooncat for sponsoring this video, and of course leave me any and all thoughts that you have down below so we can chat about it. But thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.